figured I'd share this. I got this Ryobi, just a little weed sprayer. It's cordless, 18 volt. What I do for the weeds around here, where the dogs are going to be spending time unsupervised, is I don't use any Roundup or glyphosate type stuff. I put a little bit of a dish soap, or in this case it's actually like a hand soap, like soft soap or something, and vinegar and some salt. Sounds a little crazy. I'm going to probably spill because this doesn't have the right size opening. But I just mix this stuff up. The salt for a couple reasons. And this is like literally just salt that I have dedicated for this, as crazy as it sounds. You could probably use a cheaper salt, but we bought this like in bulk and we just don't use it very fast. So it happened to be what they had at Costco, I think. And vinegar. Right there, you can get this stuff cheap, like a few dollars for the 2 gallons. And I'm literally just going to use this to spray those weeds. So I'm going to make a video spraying them, and then I'm going to come back in a week and make a follow-up. So this thing holds about a gallon. So I did, a couple handfuls of salt, a decent shot of soap, and the soap is going to be a little more like a surfactant. It's going to like hold basically get the vinegar and the salt onto the plant and kind of help hold it there. So that's the only reason for the soap. You could really do it without the soap. It'll just run off more. And you could probably do it even without the salt. But the salt's going to give it a little bit of a better effect. Kind of, in a way, the glyphosate Roundup is a type of a salt. Anyway, so actually, shoot, my battery's dead, so let me swap my battery. Actually, false alarm. I forgot this has a switch. So I think it's still going to work. No, it's trying. Alright, I just need to blow some of the junk out of it. I haven't used it actually in a little while, so it kind of clogged up the little sprayer. I'm just going to shoot little stuff like this. It's really easy to carry because this one's so small, but not so easy, I realize, with the phone in my hand. Just come around and shoot this stuff. Like I said, I wouldn't probably use this like out in the field, but for the stuff around the house. And I also use this around the fruit trees, so that way I'm not spraying chemicals. Let's go around and shoot some stuff. I would say this stuff is pretty minimal. Let me get a good sample area out here. See this? All these little weeds. I'm gonna douse this whole area. Come back through in a week and see how this stuff's doing. It does work, I can assure you, but I'm gonna prove it. Alright, I sprayed this stuff out here. You can see it's still a little wet. Sprayed the stuff in this little bed here. I sprayed the stuff around the pool area. So I'm gonna wait a week and then we'll do a follow-up. I may have missed a little bit. I kind of just blew right through this real quick. But as I'm walking, like this little area right here, you can hit a little more. So that crack you saw. And then this area here, I don't think I sprayed this spot. So the thing is, if you wanted to do big time weed spraying, you want to dye it. But again, this is just for like an area where I won't use any chemicals. So I sprayed this stuff. We'll see how it turns out. If it was out there, you get lost in that field. I'm telling you, you'd have to use dye, and I would not use vinegar for that. But for in here, that's what I'm using. So 1 week. Follow up on the weed spraying. Got kind of a little surprise. It ended up, see, that one's pretty withered. But like 2 days after I sprayed that, or not even, it ended up, we got a pretty solid rain, like almost an inch of rain, which was not originally forecasted. So it's way less effective when when it gets kind of rinsed off. But you can notice a lot of this stuff is mostly withered. I think there's a little bit of new stuff. So that's one thing to consider when you spray. It's going to do what it's going to do, and it's going to definitely kill the weeds. But it's if it rains and rinses off, it's not going to work. So like you can see, mostly that one got it and maybe coming back to life. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to do a reapplication. All the smaller weeds that were less strong, for sure, knocked out. They're gone. You know, like if it's a weak weed, the vinegar will knock it right down. But if it's a stronger weed, it's a little tougher, and you really can't have it get rained out. So just showing it does work. Let me get over here. Weak weeds gone. I sprayed in here. Definitely a pretty big effect. You can see a little green still, which I'd attribute mostly to that sudden rain. Over here, a lot of the weak weeds gone. Definitely pretty much dead. Pretty dead over here. So effective, but in a comparison, let me show you where I sprayed Roundup. All right, so this whole field I sprayed Roundup. I mean, you can no Roundup. So the Roundup is just way more effective overall, but it still struggled a little. Started to get some rain, so you can see there's a little bit of green right there in the middle. So I even have to do a reapplication of the Roundup. And out there, Roundup is fine. I spray it way down in here. Even up along the top, I actually spray the vinegar because I got some fruit trees there. So if I'm very safe distance, I'll go right for the Roundup or generic brand glyphosate, and I spray pretty heavy application. I'm mixing like, 30 gallons or more at a time, whereas like with the vinegar, I'm just shooting one little gallon. So you can see with your own eyes, the vinegar definitely works on a lot of stuff. It doesn't work as well as Roundup, but it doesn't work that effectively unless it's going to stay dry for, let's say, like a solid week. So there you go. That helps you decide whether the vinegar is the way to go for you or not. It's definitely safer.